I'm Melanie Orleans. Happening right now on News 4 at noon, remembering 9/11, how the country is standing together to honor those who lost their lives 16 years ago today.
And I'm tracking what's left over of Hurricane Irma at midday, and I'll let you know if it's going to come to pay us a visit in my Ford forecast.
Yeah, as Mike just said, Hurricane Irma now making her way north and into Georgia. The latest on the devastation left behind. News 4 at noon starts right now.
Live in high definition. This is Western New York's news leader. Now, News 4 at noon.
We begin this noon with breaking news out of Cheektowaga. Police say an 88-year-old man assaulted his wife inside a healthcare facility. Authorities say Martin Turkowitz attacked his wife with a hammer. It happened Saturday at the Garden Gate Healthcare Facility on Union Road. Rita Turkowitz was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Her husband is charged with attempted murder and assault. Investigators are trying to determine a motive this afternoon. We'll have much more on this story tonight on News 4 at 5 and 6.
Ellie Kakos.
Edward L. Allegretto.
Eric Allen.
Right now, the country is remembering one of the nation's most terrifying days. 16 years ago today, nearly 3,000 people lost their lives when terrorists hijacked planes and crashed them into the Twin Towers and a field in Pennsylvania, as well as into the Pentagon. Relatives and survivors came together to remember the lives lost during the attacks. Crowds in New York City held moments of silence at 8:46 and 9:03 this morning, marking the times that the first and second planes slammed into the Twin Towers. People also paid tribute to those who died on Flight 77, which struck the Pentagon, and those on Flight 93, which crashed into an open field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. And today, Western New Yorkers are honoring those who lost their lives. News 4's Angela Cristoforo shows us how they're being remembered.
Events are taking place throughout Western New York to remember those who lost their lives on 9/11. Here at Delaware Park, as part of a special tribute, people are taking laps around the park, holding an American flag and flag of honor.
We will never forget, and we can never forget what happened. The attacks on the World Trade Centers really rocked our nation to the core.
It's a day that changed everything for many people.
Our unit got mobilized after the attacks and spent a year in Iraq. And
we know of 22 people from Western New York who died in the World Trade Center or in Shanksville, PA, or in the Pentagon.
Members of the U.S. Air Force Honor Guard honored the memory of victims through the 5th annual 9/11 Dawn to Dusk moving tribute. Not far from Delaware Park, first responders held American flags on the Scajaquada Expressway pedestrian bridge, a tradition that's taken place each year since 2003.
I hung the flag over the bridge, and there was so much awareness created that I knew that we had to do this every year.
It's been 16 years since the 9/11 attacks, but many remember the day like yesterday.
Just a horrible feeling in my stomach. Just a sickness.
First responders and members of the general public stood on the pedestrian bridge with these American flags from 8:15 through 10:30 this morning. That marks the time frame the September 11th attacks happened 16 years ago. The American flags here were on display for thousands of people as they drove by this morning. In Buffalo, Angela Cristoforos, News 4.
The Naval and Military Park held a special tribute to honor the brave souls. This morning, members of the Buffalo Fire Police Department and other first responders came together to pay their respects.
Today, we remember the nearly 3,000 people who were killed on that fateful morning, and the thousands that were injured, and of the family and extended family members who suffered their loss even today.
The ceremony also included a musical tribute by the Greater Buffalo Firefighters Pipes and Drums. Hurricane Irma tore through Miami yesterday, bringing heavy rain and flooding. The storm downed trees, ripped out street signs, and just tossed debris. Also knocked out power for many people throughout the state. This afternoon, the storm has been downgraded from a hurricane to a tropical storm. Mola Leahy has the latest from Tallahassee.
Historic floodwaters are raging through the streets of downtown Jacksonville.
And we have the St. Johns River literally bringing whitecaps.
Irma's storm surge has pushed the St. Johns River to heights never seen before.
It's bad now. It's going to continue to get worse.
Nearby Atlantic Beach is also taking a beating from fierce winds and floods. Rain from Irma started falling in Tallahassee Monday morning. Evacuation orders were voluntary here, but from the look of the roads, it seems many people left town. Hurricane Irma made landfall in the Florida Keys early Sunday. This morning, evacuated residents waited in line to get back home.
Now we're trying to get in, and unfortunately, they're just not letting us in.
Irma weakened as it tracked north, but still punished millions of people along Florida's Gulf Coast. Power is out for about 6 million customers, and at least 200,000 residents are in shelters. In Miami, 100-mile-per-hour winds snapped at least 2 construction cranes. Lincoln O'Barry is surprised nearby residents weren't evacuated.
These cranes that are 45, 50 stories up, if they fall, they have the potential to go 3 or 4 blocks.
Cleanup is now beginning in Fort Lauderdale and other areas where Irma hit first. It'll likely be days before the full extent of the damages are added up, but some residents are breathing a sigh of relief that Irma was not the monster storm that many feared. Mola Leahy, CBS News, Tallahassee.
Forewarned meteorologist Mike Syka is here with the forecast. Mike, you've been tracking Irma, just devastating to many parts of Florida.
Yeah, I mean, as they just mentioned in that report, though, really things could have been worse.
Could have been worse, but
you know, if it hadn't
still
been for the fact that the storm really hit Cuba and the wind kind of got knocked out of its sails, at least to some extent at that point, it kind of weakened the storm because of the interaction with the mountains.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been a Category 5 storm plowing up into Florida. Even so, it was a Cat 4 storm when it arrived in the Keys, and then a Category 3 as it worked up toward Naples, and then eventually the weakening process began as the center of the storm, moved inland away from the energy source, the warm water there in the Gulf of Mexico. Here's a look at it at noontime today. In the orange and yellow shades here showing up in the satellite picture, this is an enhanced satellite view, are actually the higher cloud tops. They're the cooler cloud tops, and they're the ones that are producing the more significant rainfall now, which is working up into Georgia and also South Carolina. So for the most part, the heavier rain has exited Florida as it moves up into the southeastern U.S., where there still could be some flash flooding out of it today. As we head over to the satellite and radar view around our neck of the woods, some of the outer rim high clouds, at least from this particular storm system, are advancing northward toward our area, and we'll actually see some of that mixing with the sunshine, especially tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to block out the sunshine, and more of those clouds, at least south of the city. Basically, we're looking at dry weather today, tomorrow, and then as the remnants of the storm actually edge close to us on Wednesday, there may be a few spotty showers or thunderstorms developing at that time. The best chance is going to be probably down toward the southern tier and the northern tier counties of PA. So your headlines on this Monday, just A-OK out there today. A gorgeous late summer day shaping up, a warmer week shaping up, actually above normal temperatures for this time of year, and a limited chance for rain. We'll pinpoint the timing on that coming up in the 7-day outlook.
All right, Mike, thank you. Well, still ahead, you got to see it to believe it. A Bills fan has gone viral for his rendition of a popular Elton John song. Love it. And voters are gearing up to head to the polls for primary day. Who's going up against incumbent Byron Brown, and what you need to know for tomorrow.